So I'm working on the Centuri raised letter coin door, and I've pulled off the Centuri nameplate. I actually painted the whole entire thing with black paint, but before I did that, I put wax over each one of the raised letters just to make the paint a little bit easier to remove. And I've already made a few passes with 220 grit on a sanding block. You don't want to do it by hand, with just sandpaper in your hand. You want to use just a sanding block to keep it nice and flat, and that way you're not going to worry about sandpaper getting into the recessed areas as much. And you just want to make sure you keep it nice and flat on there, and you should be okay. That was just a few passes already over it. It's looking like it's going to show up. So I'm going to keep going with that and hopefully have a nice Centuri raised letter coin door that looks minty fresh. It's done. I ended up cleaning it and wiping it off because you end up with a lot of debris, and what I found is that the debris ends up kind of sticking to the paint, and it's kind of a pain to clean up when you're sanding, because eventually you do get to metal and you end up with some metal shavings on it. But I think it looks a lot better than it did, and I'm going to leave it because I found that when I decide to fix things, I end up having to redo the entire thing. So I wouldn't give myself a 100 on this if I were to grade myself, but I'm going to say that it is, A or B work. But I am my own worst critic, as always. But there we go. There is the Centuri nameplate for the coin door. I'm going to go ahead and put that on and maybe even get the coin door installed.